Back on the sports show with Woody and Les and everyone else. This is Daniel Boniface of the Denver Post to talk Colorado Rapids soccer with us.
Denver Post musical chairs?
Yes, it is. And this report sponsored by the Celtic Tavern. Daniel, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Rapids, not a great record. 1, 2, and 3. 1 loss, 2 wins,
Scored goals.
3 draws. But at least they're scoring goals. I mean, the last couple of games they scored 4 and then 1. Right?
Yep, that's right.
Do you see the offense starting to get it all together?
Yeah, well, they're creating chances. I mean, they've put a lot of shots on goal. They need to get, as Pablo Mastroeni said, a little bit more clinical with their finishing, and things are trending well for them. I think. I mean, aside from last week's game, a 3-1 loss, the signs are there that they're probably better than what the record shows.
Well, we talked to one of the players last week, as you know, and he
Drew
talked
Moore
about,
here.
yeah, and Drew, who did a good job on the Papa shot, by the way, we should add. Drew was talking about that they really work, because I brought up Italy to him, which is I know for some people, but Italy always built from the back end toward the front end. And he said that's what they were doing, and they thought they had solidified their defense, and now they were working toward improving their offense. And I think we're seeing results of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the deepest spot on their team right now is their defense. They have very solid back four, really strong in the center back core, really strong in the defensive midfield. And they are looking to add some to their attacking core right now. They're a little depleted up front. So,
well, tell us. I have a question. You have a bunch of questions, I know, but I just have one. So we're going out, and you and I are going to go out and see them upcoming. Right?
I don't have a choice. I have to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll go with you.
That's great fun.
No, I love going to the Rapids
and
games.
The
I love the fans.
I love the
fans are great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Who's the player that we should be looking at that maybe the casual fan is really not paying attention to, that you like and saying, boy, this guy's going to be somebody?
The guy that I would say you should keep your eye on is Dillon Powers. He is an attacking midfielder for the Rapids. When he gets the ball, he always seems to know what to do with it. He finds a way to release pressure and make a good pass. Just a really smart American attacker that he's on the rise. He could get a look with the national team here coming up, I think.
Daniel, the Rapids are looking for some help. I believe they're trying to get a couple of international players to come here, including one from Argentina, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. All right? What's the difficult? Why does it take so long to get a guy to come overseas to play for the Rapids if they want him badly and he wants to come here? What are the difficulties involved in that?
Well, there are visa issues. That's one thing that can delay things. And right now they're looking at bringing in a guy by the name of Luis Solignac, and he's
that's the one.
Yeah, he's reports came out of Argentina earlier this week that the Rapids were looking at him. He played overseas in Finland the last 2 years, where he scored 20 goals in 40 matches.
They could use that.
Yeah, so really good strike rate, and they definitely need the help up front. So. Right now their depth is really depleted in the attacking core. Off the bench last week, they needed goals, and they really didn't have too many options. They ended up bringing in defensive midfielder Nick LaBraca for Vicente Sanchez, who's a winger, an attacker. So it's like they just didn't really have the options available. So. Hopefully, they can get through these visa issues, if that's what the holdup is. Sometimes it's what are the terms going to be for the deal? Is it going to be a loan deal? Is it going to be an outright buy of the contract? So there are different variables depending on how much money they want to spend,
sure.
or how, what the deal is.
Well, I think if you are a soccer fan and you are a Rapids fan, you got to reach out to that team and say that we're willing to apply for a Visa card if that's what it's going to take. I think Frontier sells a Visa card. Let's get the guy a Visa card. If that's not, we don't want to have unlimited spending, but if you put a $4,000 limit on it, we'll all chip in and Is that what we're talking about? That's
Different,
No.
different kind of visa.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Work
Never
visa.
So much
mind.
for American Express being a sponsor of this show. He's Daniel Boniface. He writes about the Rapids for the Denver Post. We really appreciate you coming by, and we'll see you again next week, all right?
Could I ask you one quick question, though? Are we getting players from other countries like Japanese baseball? I would bring it back to something that more people will be aware of. Are we getting that kind of quality player where the guys who have washed up careers over here really go to Japan and play baseball? But are we getting some quality players? Because Stan Kroenke always told me that with his deal with owning Arsenal, that he wanted to use this as a fertile ground for some of the players that couldn't make the Arsenal team.
I think the Rapids are trying to bring in players who they think are going to be of that quality. They recently signed Kevin Doyle. He's a Republic of Ireland international striker, and so he plays at the international level. One of the top strikers in his country, and then they had also recently been looking at Luton Shelton, although it doesn't look like anything's going to happen there, and he's scored the most goals for Jamaica in international play. So they are bringing in some. I mean, they're not getting what England and Spain and Italy, what those club teams are able to bring in, but. I think Japanese baseball would be a fair comparison.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Daniel, thanks, man. All right, we'll see you next week. Daniel Boniface. Hey, this Colorado Rapids report presented by the Celtic Tavern, official sponsor of the Colorado Rapids. The Celtic provides a bus to every Colorado Rapids home game. You can tailgate 2 hours before kickoff. Sounds like a pretty good deal. The Celtic is just 2 blocks west of Coors Field.